Bethesda has made some amazing video games in its day, and every single one of those games always has its own unique style, with its own unique strengths, and also its own weaknesses. However, if there's one thing that has always been consistently fantastic, it's the world itself. Because when it comes to creating amazing video game environments that feel truly believable, nobody does it better than Bethesda. No matter how alien or how human they are, these places always seem to feel like they could really exist, and as if people actually live in them. But all that fantastic world building expertise that they developed over the years culminated into easily the greatest video game world that any developer has ever built. Skyrim, the most immersive game ever made. Now, before we go any further into this, I think you should check out today's sponsor, Amino. Amino is a community app where people can get together to talk about the things that they love, like the Elder Scrolls, which is why I am a fan of the Elder Scrolls community on Amino. Dedicated to all things, well, I mean Elder Scrolls, you get it. Like all this sweet lore that people post. Just look at this. It shows what your birth sign would be in real life. But what I enjoy even more than that stuff is all the polls that you can vote on, because I love sharing my opinion. I know, that seems crazy, but it's true. And speaking of polls, I've actually made one of my own that you can vote on right now about what is your preferred combat style in Skyrim. I usually go with the bow. So if you'd like to check out the Amino app and vote in my poll, just click the link in the description or the one pinned to the top of the comment section to download Amino for free on iOS or Android. From there, just search Elder Scrolls and join up. Alright, now let's get back to Skyrim. Now, I know that I have a tendency to criticize Skyrim quite a bit, having said things like the quests are rather lackluster and the NPCs are dumb because they're all on rails, which, I mean, it's all true, but despite what people think, I still am a huge fan of this game, because the world is just so fantastic. From the epic cities to the amazing vistas, all the way down to the random junk you find lying around the game. Like this pod, it may seem unimportant, but if you take it away, suddenly the world feels just a bit less believable, because all these minor objects help create a sense that somebody actually lives here. Somebody uses this stuff. Without them, it's just another generic video game house, and who wants that? Not me. But it's not just the pots and pans that make the difference in Skyrim, because everywhere you go, you will find things that help flesh out the world and the lore. Like the purple tree, or Gajunkar, or Gajuker? This monument, whatever it's called, or even this abandoned house near Whiterun. Who lived here? Why is it abandoned? Who cares? Let's just grab the cash out of the hidden chest and get out of here. What? It's empty. Why? Oh, that reminds me, I do have to criticize the god-awful, immersion-breaking, randomized chests all throughout this game. I mean, really, why put so much effort into making everything in the world so well thought out and lived in, and then make the chests have just random junk in them? It's terrible. Honestly, it just incentivizes me to never bother looking in them, because I know it's never gonna be anything I want. But fortunately, as annoying as that is, it doesn't destroy the experience of the rest of the game. Maybe a little bit. So okay, I know that I literally just criticized Skyrim's NPCs like 2 minutes ago, but even I can't deny that there was some genuine thought put into every single one of them. Well, maybe not this guy, but the majority of them are all pretty good, each with their own unique backgrounds and personalities that most of us would never even notice if we weren't looking for it. Even the ones that we love to hate have some real stories behind them. And when you really stop and pay attention, can't help but wonder if your hatred for that character might have been misplaced. For example, when I made my top 5 jerks video, a lot of people in the comments mentioned that Braith should have been on the list, and I can see why. She certainly seems like a serious bully.
Boys, girls, dogs, elders, there's nobody I won't fight.
I mean, she's always trying to beat up that Lars kid and steal his lunch money. What a jerk, right? Maybe you think so, but personally, I feel bad for the girl. Because the truth is, Braith behaves the way she does because she doesn't have the best parents. I mean, her father's more focused on his mercenary work to pay much mind to her, which certainly doesn't help. But her mother is even worse because she barely interacts with Braith at all.
My daughter Braith says I read too much. Play with me, mother. Girls need to learn how to take care of themselves.
She even goes as far as to complain about Braith in front of her and others. And when Braith tries to interact with her mom, she just gets blown off. When you put all this together, it's no surprise she behaves the way she does. But it isn't just Braith who isn't as bad as you think, because Nazim might not be what he seems either. Yeah, that's right, I said Nazim. I mean, I'm not saying he isn't a jerk, because he absolutely is, but when you really look into his backstory, you start to wonder if maybe there's more to this guy than just some arrogant upper-class snob. For For example, why does he live in the Drunken Huntsman? Maybe it's because he isn't rich at all. I mean, sure, he does own the Chill Furrow Farm, a very successful business obviously, but when you go take a look at that farm, you realize it's practically barren, especially when compared to the farms that surround it, which are filled with rich soil and plenty of crops. So maybe the real reason why Nazim is so bitter is because he didn't get the life he had dreamed of. He spent all his money on a small farm and it did not pay off. And now he struggles to get by with what he has, never having a chance to catch up. It's a bit sad, really. You know, maybe we've been too hard on the guy.
Do you get to the Cloud District very often? Oh, what am I saying? Of course you don't.
That's it! I take it all back, Nazim. You're the worst! There's one last thing I want to talk about that ties this all together. It may not be as important as the diverse people or the seemingly random stuff placed all over the game, but it still makes a big difference when it comes to transforming Skyrim from just a well-crafted video game into a believable and realistic world, and that is the wildlife. In previous games, the animals of Elder Scrolls felt like they had no real purpose, like they were just placed there as an obstacle, simply to fill a space that otherwise would seem empty. But in Skyrim, wildlife feels like real wildlife. From sabercats that actually hunt to butterflies that hang out on flowers, the wildlife of Skyrim is probably the most believable and immersive I have ever seen in any video game ever. And it really makes a difference because I don't know about you, but I spend a lot of time in the wilds. Although I do have to admit the dragons are freaking annoying. Look, dragon dude, I just want to fast travel back to Riften. Can you please leave me alone? Or at least let me kill you. Finally! Oh, son of a... Anyway, as I was saying, most of the wildlife is pretty good. So if this is what Bethesda can do with animals in 2011, I am even more excited to see what comes next in Starfield, and better yet, Elder Scrolls 6. Because I get the feeling it's gonna be pretty spectacular. Alright, if you enjoyed this video, I recommend checking out some of my other videos on Skyrim and Oblivion, such as the 5 biggest jerks in Skyrim. That one's pretty good. I will see you guys there. Goodbye.